All right, thanks for joining me, everyone. Put another dollar in the all right jar. It is May 8th, 2023. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show. Reminder, we're streaming live every day on YouTube and on Rumble, rumble.com/coffeenuance/live. You can sign up with the link in the description. I appreciate it if you do that. Who knows how long we'll be on any of these platforms, so it's good to have a backup, right? But today, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the royal family has done it again. Prince Charles is now King Charles, and the monarchy lives on. It's like a never-ending episode of Downton Abbey. Now, some people may think the monarchy's outdated, but I say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Royal family's like a classic car. Sure, it may not be the most efficient or environmentally friendly, but damn if it doesn't look good and turn heads. Let's not forget about the royal fashion. The hats, the gloves, the kilts. It's a fashion show. And I can't wait to see what kind of crazy outfit Charles wears for his first official function as king. Maybe he'll go full Liberace, wear a cape made out of diamonds. Jokes aside, there's something nice about tradition. Not everything in the world has to be new and shiny. Sometimes it's comforting to know that there are things that have stood the test of time, like the monarchy or McDonald's fries. Let's not forget about the tourism, all that revenue. People come from all over the world to see Buckingham Palace. Changing of the guard. It's like a big fancy zoo, but don't feed the royals. And now I know people are saying, some people, right? Some people are saying the monarchy is a symbol of inequality and oppression. Let's be real. We got bigger problems to worry about, like the AI overlords will turn us all into their pets. So long live King Charles. May he reign for many years and continue to bring a little bit of old world charm to a world that's lacking it. And King Chuck, if you need a jester who can also make a mean cucumber sandwich, hit me up. My name's Tom Coffee. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. All right. Again, another dollar. We're not even 2 minutes into this show, and I've already put $2 in the all right jar. Damn. But yeah, that's the news. New king. Now, I kind of put out a sarcastic thumbnail today, New King and Other Pointless Stories. Because in one sense, it's like, who cares? But on the other sense, I think it's kind of nice. I didn't watch any of the ceremony, so it must not be that important watching the ceremony, but I don't need to watch the ceremony to still be able to appreciate what's happening over there. Let me give you a little quick rundown of that. Boom, here we go. King Charles III was crowned at London's Westminster Abbey on May 6, 2023. And some of the most memorable moments of the ceremony, the Dean of Westminster poured hot oil on the coronation spoon, and then Archbishop of Canterbury anointed Charles on his head, breast, and hands. Charles was then crowned with Sir Edward's crown. Camilla was also crowned, and both wore British designer outfits. The coronation featured an appearance by a gospel choir and a new coronation anthem composed by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Conservative lawmaker Penny Mordaunt wielded the Sword of Offering, and Prince Louis, the youngest child of the Prince and Princess of Wales, was spotted yawning during the service because apparently that's news too. So, yeah, that's it. That's that's the top story today. We got a new king. So congratulations, King Chuck. I like you. I salute you. We have a number of stories to get to. In my thumbnail, I called them pointless stories, but there might be a little something there. So, first up, we're gonna take a trip down south. There we go. Chilean right-wing parties are predicted to win a majority of the vote to elect advisors to draft a new constitution, making a sharp shift from the progressive majority that drafted a failed first constitutional rewrite. The Republican Party, led by former conservative firebrand presidential candidate Jose Antonio Cast, leads with 35.5% of the vote, while a separate coalition of traditional right-wing parties had 21% of the vote, and President Gabriel Bork's left-wing coalition had 28%. The new council will begin drafting a new constitution in June, and voters will approve or reject the proposal in December. So, why is this a story? Well, it's interesting that a lot of countries don't hold their constitution in as high regard that we do. And in Chile, they've decided they want to try rewriting it. So good for them. If you got a constitution that's not quite working out, let's go for a redo, right? Here, a couple interesting things about Chile I wanted to share. So South America on the West Coast, long, skinny country, right? In English, we call this country Chile, right? And people may say, oh, no, but it's Chile or Chile. Yeah, that's not in English, right? If we're speaking English, we use an English pronunciation for this. It strikes me as funny. I've always found it funny that most people say Chilean wrong, because that's how you say it in English. But for whatever reason, I know the reason, but people say Chilean. And that actually came about in the late 70s, early 80s, when there was an apple scare for apples from that country. And there was an ABC news broadcast, and it was mispronounced. And at the time, most people in the United States didn't even know about the country. And so that was the first that they'd heard of it. And when they heard Chilean, they think, oh, that sounds like a cool word. I'll remember that. And now we have Chilean sea bass. It's Chilean, you know. To me, it's just amusing that if you call anybody on this, that they will get so defensive. And they will say, no, it's Chilean because it's Spanish or whatever. Yeah, we eat Mexican food. We don't have Mexican food, right? When you travel to France, you go to Paris. You don't go to Paris. You know, like if you go to Gothenburg, Sweden, right? We say Gothenburg. We don't say Göteborg. But that would be correct in Swedish. And in the same way, when we're talking about something, the adjective of something from Chile, it's Chilean, okay? And one thing to note is the similarity between Chile's flag and the Texas flag. As you can see, the Texas flag, the blue goes all the way to the bottom, and on the Chile flag, it's only a square in the corner. There you go. That's your little trivia for the day. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. Let's get to something else. Yes. Actor Richard Dreyfuss criticized the Academy Awards' diversity and inclusion standards, which go into effect in the Best Picture category in 2024. In a recent interview, Dreyfuss called the guidelines patronizing and thoughtless, and argued that no one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. The Academy's initiative requires any Best Picture nominee to meet the criteria that includes on-screen representation, themes and narratives, creative leadership and project team, industry access and opportunities, and audience development with a focus on inclusion of people from underrepresented groups. And this is kind of funny because in all of this write-up, so essentially, like one of the things is one of the, you can't just have all the main characters be white. Okay? You have to have a character that's not white have like 30% of the dialogue. And if not, then your movie's not diverse. However, right, if the entire cast happens to be non-white, well, that's okay, because they're all underrepresented groups, even though some underrepresented groups are really overrepresented in in that industry. But underrepresented just means not white. That's what underrepresented means. And diverse, to be diverse, it means that you're not white. So you could have a cast that's entirely black, a cast that's entirely Asian. That's fine. A main cast that's all white, well, you have not met the requirements of the Academy Awards. You will not be considered for Best Picture. I salute Richard Dreyfuss for standing up for this insanity. It really is stupid. It really is dumb. And, yeah, you're going to have some historical film, right? You're doing a piece about, I don't know, Vienna in the 1800s or something like that. But if you don't have enough on-screen representation in your film, well, then we won't consider that. You know, the Mozart film, for example, would not be allowed to be Best Picture because, yeah, this is just insanity. But again, things go insane unless someone pushes back. I could push back, but not a whole lot of people care what I think. But Richard Dreyfuss, he has a voice, and he's someone that people will listen to. So he stood up for this. So good for Richard Dreyfuss. Are there bigger issues in the world? Of course. Of course there are bigger issues in the world. But sometimes you just got to stand up for what you believe in. And so that's what Richard Dreyfuss did. Let's get to another story kind of like this one. So, I hear I'm transphobic now. That's what Dee Snider, frontman of Twisted Sisters, responded to criticism over his support for fellow rocker Paul Stanley's remarks that were criticized as being anti-trans. Snider was dropped from a main stage appearance at this year's Pride celebration in San Francisco, and his song, We're Not Gonna Take It, was canceled as the festival's unofficial rallying cry. In a Facebook post, Snider said he did not believe young children were ready to decide their gender allocation, but supported their choices and accepted them. He also described himself as being a proud moderate and a heterosexual who supports LGBTQIA+ rights. He got them all in there. Although I don't think he mentioned Two-Spirit. Kiss's Paul Stanley has since claimed the wording of his initial post was not clear. So I find this hilarious. Dee Snider, heavy metal, rock and roll guy, lead singer for the band Twisted Sister. The shtick that his group did their entire career is they would dress up in drag to perform. And they would wear, big loud outfits with, and they would all wear huge platform boots on stage with makeup and paint the fingernails and the whole thing. That was their thing. They were performing in drag. He was set to perform on the main stage at a Pride festival, but somehow he questioned whether young children let's see, what was it? He didn't believe young children were ready to decide their gender, but he supported them anyway. Somehow that was not enough for activists in that community. And they have now called him a transphobe for that. That is crazy. That is crazy. When you take someone that is not 100% in lockstep with your beliefs and you cast them out because they're not 100%, right? That's cult behavior. That's not rational behavior. That's not logical behavior. That's cult behavior. And you can look that up. Look up, what's the sign I'm in a cult? And one of them is casting people out that are not 100% on board with the message. That's a cult. And in my opinion, a lot of the activism in that community is very cult-like behavior. I mean, to call a guy that's been dressing in drag longer than these activists have even been alive, right? Who was set to perform on the main stage of Pride. You go, you're a bigot. I mean, this is just insanity. And I hope that this is an example that you don't need to kowtow to the extreme people. And if there's an extreme cult, you don't need their approval. Okay, I think that Dee Snider has probably done more for acceptance of trans in this country than than so many people. I mean, one of the most influential of putting himself out there in drag. Now, since the early 80s, he's been doing this. I actually saw Dee on stage. I went to his concert when I was a kid. Yeah, as a kid. I think I was in middle school. I saw him perform. And I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he rocked, He made pretty good rebellious music for middle schoolers. I think that was kind of the market. But I think it tells you what you need to know about this extreme community, that they're casting out people that are not 100% on board. That's just silly stuff. Anyway, let's get to some other nonsense, shall we? Some other nonsense. Okay, Finance Buzz. A financial website is offering $1,000 to one person who can watch all 10 movies of Fast and the Furious film saga and track damages from every car crash that occurs in each film, including the upcoming Fast X movie, which debuts, coincidentally, May 19th. The winner must note every car crash that results in damage and extent of the damage and what cars were involved. The website intends to use the claims adjuster's findings to estimate the insurance impact of the franchise's reckless driving and include a winner's note in the upcoming story. Applicants must be able to rent or stream movies at home and watch Fast X in a movie theater. The deadline for U.S.-based applicants is May 19th. So, guess what? This is just free marketing for the new Fast and the Furious movie. That's what this is. And if you think that they're going to choose you, yeah, good luck. I would say buy a Powerball ticket. You probably have about equal odds of getting this. But what this is this is a very clever marketing ploy by a company. You got a company, they get hired to do some promotion, or this finance site. They're looking for clients. They're looking for people that they can advertise to. They're looking for people that they can send emails to with great offers. Well, probably, you know who's really good? Who they would really like to target? They'd really like to target suckers, right? That's because they don't want to target skeptical, critical people, because skeptical, critical people probably aren't going to buy their BS. But if you're a sucker that thinks, oh, look, I can sign up and maybe they'll pay me to watch Fast and Furious movies, that's like an application, and you've let them know you're really naive. Okay? So this marketing company, for free, is going to get probably tens of thousands of people to sign up on their website, to give them their email address, to give them all their personal information, and now they can advertise to you forever. All right? They'll probably even ask for your phone number so they can send you text messages. And you gave it to them. This is, and the amazing thing about this is how bad journalism is. This is obviously not news. This is not news at all. But I got this from CNN. And CNN just prints it up like it's an actual story. It's marketing, and it's free advertising for the new Fast and the Furious movie that CNN is doing, along with a whole list of American media companies. They're all putting out the same story. Oh, you could win $1,000 and, to watch all the Fast and the Furious movies. Really? Really? You're a sucker if you think that's the case. This is clearly marketing, and apparently, right, CNN and all these other media companies are just happy to give free advertising to other media companies. Guess that's how it works. Now, if I were to put up something similar, if I were to send a press release to CNN saying, hey, I will pay $1,000 to watch my live stream. Think that's a story? Of course not. I could say, I'll give $10,000. CNN would turn that down because they can't get anything from me, but they can get something from Fast and the Furious, right? So this is just silly marketing. It's not news, and any media company that is putting this story out, you have to wonder about their news standards, right? So, yeah. There we go. Lastly, I guess, let's get to some good news. An Italian historian, Silvano Vicenti, claims that a bridge over Mona Lisa's left shoulder in the infamous painting is Romito de Laterina Bridge in the Tuscan town of Laterina. Using drone photographs and historical records of Da Vinci's whereabouts, including those owned by the de Medici family, Vassetti believes he found the bridge depicted in Mona Lisa's painting, and it has 4 arches, the same as the Romito de Laterina. The bridge was a shortcut to a town where Da Vinci also stayed, and then when he would go on to Florence, it would cut his travel time by 3 hours to take that route as compared to other routes. So this is kind of cool. This is a close-up picture of the Mona Lisa. Let's see, right there, that's the left shoulder of Mona Lisa, right here. Over the shoulder is the bridge. Now, I want to kind of rename or redefine good news, because this isn't necessarily good news, but it's nice news. It's wholesome news. It's kind of positive. There's nothing negative about this. And so that's why this is the good news story of the day. This could have been found out your entire life. You could have decided, hey, where is that bridge? Can I figure it out myself? But apparently no one else did. No one did. And this guy decided, I want to find out where that was. And he looked at where Da Vinci lived. He looked at where he traveled. He studied the different routes, and he was able to find the location that matched up. I think that's very cool. And that's the challenge for you. Is there anything that you could discover now that no one has discovered before? Because most of the time, you know, we can't. But here this was. This is one of the most famous paintings of all time. It was right in front of us all along, and no one bothered to try to figure it out. And this guy figured it out. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's good news. So, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments. I will be going through all your comments in the after show. That's after I play the outro music. Stick around. I'll go through all your comments. If you made it this far, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Leave me a comment. I really appreciate that. It does make a difference. Perhaps I won't lose as many subscribers. I don't know. Anyway, that's the news I got for you today on this Monday. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you in the after show. Have a beautiful day. Peace. Okay, well, obviously that one did not work there. Nope, too big. Okay. Let's just do away with it. There we go. Okay, here we are. Looking at the chat. Got some people over there. What's up, Duggo? What's up, Libwing of the Libwing? We know that's Miranda over there on Rumble. Thanks for checking in. Is King Charles retiring? Oh, he's taken the throne. Yes, finally. He finally got the throne. Duggo says, CNN hasn't been news for a long time, Tom. I know. I know. That's why I singled them out. All right. What are we doing on the YouTubes? Everybody's saying hi. Matthew, Tom Coffee McConaughey. All right, all right, all right. Yes, I'm still working on that verbal crutch. Often we've got to admit what we're working on so that we can fix it. So that's why I even mentioned it on the show. And now I'm very aware of every time I say all right, as soon as it leaves my mouth. I can see King Charles' kingdom from my front door. Nice. Nice. Prince Harry was there. Yeah. God bless Texas. Miranda says, I lived in Texas in 1961, just for a year, just for 6 weeks. I lived in Texas. I guess I left it. I had earlier today. I had my "Don't Mess with Texas" coffee mug that I was drinking out of. But for the show, I always use this mug just for some consistency. Yeah, I went to grad school in Texas, so I love Texas. It's okay to say things with an accent, Tomas. Yeah, what was actually funny is growing up, my dad always called me Tomas. Probably more than he called me Tom. He called me Tomas. I liked it. It's cool. But again, you can do any of that for effect. It's just knowing you go have Mexican food for lunch. You don't have Mexican food, right? It's that simple, you know. We say Moscow. We don't say Moskva, right? Or like Vienna is, we say Vienna. We don't say Wien, right? We're speaking English. We should use the English words. That's the only point I'm trying to make here. Miranda says, I can't take the heat and the high humidity, but it was no big deal when I was 6. I agree, but the thing is, we adjust to everything after a little bit of time. You know, I was in Fort Worth, Texas, and every summer there, it would be so freaking hot all summer long, 100 degrees all summer long. You know, it would like cool down to 91 at night. You know, the example I've used is I was mowing my lawn at 10 p.m. at night just because it wasn't nearly as hot. And the neighbors got a little upset because it was a big, loud lawnmower. But I was like, it's too hot to mow during the day. But then I move up here to Portland, and then, you know, spring comes around. I'm like, oh, it's so hot. What is it? Oh, it's 82 degrees. Oh, I got to get in the air conditioning. We just kind of adjust to wherever we are. Tom, you just make some of the Imperial family BIPOC. Ah, well, there you go. That's all you need to do. I loved the Twisted Sister scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't remember that scene. I don't remember that scene, but I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Yeah. Let's see. Natasha says, I have Brothers Karamazov. I haven't read it yet. Brothers K is, I think, one of the best books. And not my favorite Dostoevsky book, but a very important book. It's a hard read. It's a difficult read. It takes a while. And I think it may help to actually look up, you know, after you finish a chapter, look at a discussion group for it, and it may give you some insight to what things represent that you might not catch instinctually, you know. So that's my recommendation there with Brothers K. Great book, though. In Congress, when Tipper Gore... Oh, Dee's testimony to Congress when Tipper Gore was all about censorship. Yeah, Al Gore's wife... former Vice President Al Gore, Democrat, they had something in the 80s called the PMRC, the Public Parents Music Resource Council, and they were kind of going after rock lyrics. And they had a number of people testify in front of Congress. Dee Snider was one. John Denver was another. And I can't remember the third. It was just kind of striking to have Dee Snider sitting next to John Denver, and they were, you know, talking about lyrics to Congress. Twisted Sisters music, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really hold up, but it is kind of fun, rebellious music that would appeal to kids. That's kind of my take on it. Yes, my hair does look different today. I need a haircut, and I didn't put anything in it to kind of hold it back. I didn't put any gel or anything. It's au naturel today. Rumble still won't let me comment. I am sure it's operator error. Well, on Rumble, make sure that you are signed in. It's different on your phone than it is on the desktop version. So I haven't used it on the phone, so I'm not exactly sure what it's like. I think on the phone they won't even let you watch a video unless you're logged in. Not sure, but just keep working at it. I say Kiev, not Kyiv, not Kyiv. Yeah. When that came about, that was because Kiev is the Russian pronunciation of the capital city, and Kyiv is the Ukrainian pronunciation of their capital. And that was the reason for changing the pronunciation, as they were trying to distance themselves or to be more favorable, like to that the United States was being more favorable to Ukraine by calling it Kyiv rather than Kiev. So it's chicken Kyiv now rather than chicken Kiev, if you happen to ever make that dish. Let's see. I'd rather read, Eerie Fairy says, I'd rather read Crime and Punishment, but I'm reading The Brothers K this month for a book club. And yes, I watched a video on how to read it. Will be helpful when annotating it. Yeah, I think that sometimes if you're reading an older book or a classic book that may have references that you don't know those references because you're obviously not of that time, sometimes it's helpful to have some extra notes to make the story a little bit more clear. You know, as far as Dostoevsky goes, if you have never read any, I think Notes from Underground is the easiest, shortest, easiest read of his to check out. If you just jump into, like, Brothers K, it's a really big, thick book. And it's a lot tougher if you're not used to reading that style of book. So my recommendation would be to start with Notes from Underground. I think it's a quicker, easier read than the other ones. Then, you know, and then you can go on from there. But that's my own little recommendation. Anyway, that's all we got for you today. If you made it this far, if you have made it this far, boom, let's get a like. Hit that like button. It does make a difference. It makes a difference to me. It means something to me. So thanks a lot. I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully with some stories that might have a little bit more significance than the ones that I did today. That was just the theme I was going for. I do that sometimes. Anyway, have a beautiful day. Until then, peace.